morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us again. A quick introduction to the event. The event is called the PAGA MoC Relays Media Parley. The idea is to get to chat to the media, get to express the reasons why we've organized this event. You get to meet PAGA, you get to meet MoC, and we'll discuss about the very exciting event and what to expect. Already, I've shared the program for this media party in the chat, so you can check that. A few housekeeping rules, please. Everybody that joins, ensure that your mic is muted. If you need to speak, kindly use the raise your hands option in on your app, on your laptop, whichever one you're using, or desktop. We'll try to keep this as brief as possible. We'll try to wrap this up in 50 minutes, just like it's already stipulated. Please, if you have any comments, any questions, keep them as direct as possible. And like I said, if you need to speak, the moderator will call you up at any time. Just raise your hands. Yes, so with that said, without much ado, I'm going to pass on to the first major objective, which is introducing the MoC Relays, missions, objectives, and details for the event. And now Bambo is going to be in charge of that. So thank you very much. Hello, Bambo.
Thank you very much, Evans. As you all know, I'm the founder and CEO of Making of Champions, and we've been on this journey for a good 7-8 years now, 2 full Olympic cycles to help Team Nigeria get back to our best at the Olympics and even go beyond what we've done before. This year has been an interesting and a tough one because of the global pandemic. The Olympics was postponed by a year, but we've been able to rebound from these challenges. Making of Champions, we have been arranging competitions in Nigeria since 2015. We've been arranging World Athletics organized competitions since 2018, when we had the first MoC Grand Prix, and the second edition in 2019. And we had the third edition this year in March. That was the Bet King third MoC Grand Prix, which was really a coming out party, really. We had about 2 athletes qualify for the Olympics: Grayson Wokocha of Nigeria, Ferdinand Omanyala of Kenya. The event has really went international. And this year will actually mark the first year that we're having 3 of these elite competitions recognized by World Athletics. After the third MoC Grand Prix in March, we had the AFN MoC Invitational in May last month. And now with the Olympic qualification window ending on the 29th of June, next week, Tuesday, this event, the PAGA MoC Relays, gives Nigeria's athletes and relay teams a final opportunity on Sunday, the 27th of June, to qualify for the Olympics. And we'll get into a bit later on which teams are close to qualifying and which athletes, and what to expect from at the relays. But yes, I'm very pleased to announce that PAGA will be our lead sponsor for the MoC Relays. Without a doubt, they are one of the strongest and biggest mobile money companies in Nigeria. And we're really pleased that we're partnering with them on this effort for a number of reasons. We've long searched for a brand that could really be a big help to athletes and athletics in Nigeria. We're talking about financial inclusion of athletes. We're talking about a lifestyle brand that can really help them with every aspect of their lives, from making payments, from paying bills, from sending money. So this is a partnership that we've been looking forward to, a partnership that we've been discussing for some weeks and months now. And we're looking forward to see the launch of that partnership at the PAGA MoC Relays. In terms of what to expect at the relays, obviously the main objective is in the name. We want the Nigerian relay teams to qualify for the Olympics. There's 5 relay teams. Traditionally, there have been 4, but they've added the mixed 4x4, which is 2 men and 2 women, to to the Olympics for the first time. And in terms of where those teams are, the women's 4x1 more or less confirmed qualification, we hope, at the national trials last week. Yesterday, there was the Lagos State Open Athletics Championship. They, excuse me, and the women's 4x4, confirmed qualification there yesterday, running 3:26. So we have 4 teams, 3 teams left to confirm qualification: the men's 4x1, the men's 4x4, and the mixed 4x4. And we're hoping that at least 2 of those teams can qualify at the PAGA MoC relays on Sunday. I would, at this point, I would love to introduce Daniel Okparasin from PAGA to give his remarks on their behalf. Thank you, Daniel.
Hi, Bambo. Hi, everyone. Thank you all for making the time. I'll be honest that can you hear me?
Yes, please go on.
Fantastic. We've been excited about this for a while, honestly. We followed the Making of Champions progress for about 5 years now, and just really pleased with everything that they're doing, not just for sports, but for the individuals, right? The every single person that is able to participate, able to grow. As Bambo said, this really ties in with our brand essence, right? Where we're really about making life possible. Yes, we've chosen primarily the financial services sector to drive this transformation of lives, but we are able to spread out and partner with the right organizations tactically to really help create benefit, create value in the lives of many people. As you all know, because of the pandemic, obviously athletes have not been able to do much, right? So for us, having this one last opportunity for Nigerian athletes and also African athletes to get to the Olympics, right, was something we were honored to be able to participate with, and also personally, well, not personally, with PAGA as an organization, we're really, because it's a really youthful organization, we're all about sports and fitness and wellness, right? Particularly now with a lot more remote work. So it's really something that ties in with us. In fact, I'm hoping that on the day, a few of us can get there, and after the athletes are done, a few of us can get on track and see who's lost weight and who's gained weight and who's still quick and who's not. We're constantly always doing sporting activities as groups within the company. So this is a big deal for us. We believe that everyone should have an equal opportunity to succeed, right? To have an opportunity to do more in an environment that really promotes ambition, right? So this ties in heavily with us. We're also happy that we're going to be able to express aspects of the business, right? The consumer business, where individuals are able to use PAGA for themselves in their lives, transferring money, making bill payments, and really just helping life move that much easier or simpler, right? That's what PAGA is really about, making payments simple or making life possible. So we're really happy about this, really looking forward to this, and looking forward to this being the start of a longer journey with MoC, right? Thinking about it the other day, athletes prepare for 4 years for one event, right? There's a lot of investment of heart and mind, and it's the same way that an organization, we have invested hearts, minds, and a lot of effort in really transforming and financially including a lot of Nigerians. So that's why we're in here, and we're rooting for the Nigeria team to qualify and bring back some medals. And also, we should mention that we'll be driving some competitions just to even get more people to come and support. There'll be 3 lucky winners. They'll be winning quite a bit of money on the day, right? So yeah, looking forward to it. Really hoping that it is a big blast. People are able to join in person at the center in Yaba and also online. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Daniel. We will take some time for questions from the press now. If you have any question, you can raise your hand, and then I'll call on you. And when you speak, could you just introduce yourself and what platform you are representing? So I think Gowon had his hand up first, and then we'll go to Lekon after that. So let's start with Gowon. Gowon, if you have a question, you can unmute and you can go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, perfect.
Hello. Yeah. Good morning. Yeah. My name is Gowon Okodunora for the Guardian newspaper. Yeah. I must commend your efforts. Commend your effort in the sense that all this while you've making of champion have put a lot of effort in making sure Nigerian athletes qualify for the Olympics. That is where the commendation is coming from. And from the beginning of the season, Bambo, you were so optimistic that if we go to the Olympics, we should be able to pick at least 5 medals. From the way we have struggled all this while now, and in the midst of this struggle, we have only the women 4x1 and 4x4 qualified. The men have not been able to qualify. Are you still sticking your neck out that Nigeria will be able to get a medal at the Olympics in the relay, particularly?
Thanks, Rowan. Yes, definitely. I said at the start of the season that Nigeria can win 5 medals at this Olympics, and I knew that somebody would hold me to that. And I think it's still possible. I think it's still possible because of the immense talent of our individual athletes. You've got medal contenders in their events like Ese Brume in the long jump, Annette Chukwunwoke in the women's hammer. She just switched to Nigeria from the USA. You have Blessing Okagbare in the form of her life. You have Toby Amuson as well in the form of her life, ready to break the African record. So, those are already, 4 potential medalists right there. And then in the relays, obviously, with Nigeria's history in the relays, we've won 8 medals at the Olympics out of 13 in track and field. We expect all the 5 relays to be at the Olympics. So far, only 2 have qualified. And we're hoping that at least 2 more can qualify, on Sunday. I've already been informed by the Athletics Federation and the Sports Ministry that they will be entering the men's 4x1 and the women's, the mixed 4x4 at the PAGA MoC relays on Sunday. So I think it's everybody's hope and belief that those 2 teams can grab qualification at that event, and what a way that would be really to end this Olympic cycle, to have at least 4 of our relay teams at the Olympics. I also believe that 1 or 2 of those teams can medal. The women's 4x1, with Blessing Okagbare, Grace Nwokocha, Rosemary Chukwuma, Favor Ofili, they ran 42.97 in Yaba Tech on Sunday at the national trials. They can do more. The Nigerian record is 42.39. I believe that's the African record. They can get close to that with the form they're in. They are definitely potential medalists at the Olympics. Touchwood, they qualified. They're in 15th position out of 16, but hopefully it looks unassailable before the deadline next week. And I think the men's 4x1 could also eventually be medal contenders if they qualify. They ran 38:59 yesterday, equaling their time from the African Games in Rabat 2 years ago. They need 38:4 to qualify. And what's interesting is that this is not really our strongest quartet. We have Shekiri, Adegoke, Jerry Jakpa, Godson Brume, and we still have the likes of Divine Oduduru and Raymond Dekemwo to come into the team. So, let's hope they can qualify on Sunday and start training towards being potential medalists at the Olympics. Thank you. Let's go to Lekon Okusan.
Yeah. Good morning, Bambo.
Morning, Lekon.
Yeah. First of all, I want to commend the MoC for the consistency you have been keeping this year. At least you've organized 2 competitions this year. It should be something. I like your patriotism and I like your interest in Nigeria. It's rare to see people like you coming up. But my first, I have like 2 questions for you, and I have one for PAGA. There is no way I will see a sponsor coming in and not ask a question. My first question for you: you lay emphasis more on the female. It seems there's still doubt about the male because I saw that female, most of them are in their form of their life. The male, I think the MoC Relays is the only opportunity because meeting the deadline June 29. I want you to talk about the men. You lay more emphasis on the female. What is wrong with our men? What that people talk about Ojuju is not here. All that guys, what's the problem? That's one. And secondly, I want to also ask, you are talking about us winning medal. What prompted your confidence in Nigeria? Because looking at what is happening, the crisis, the athletes are not one. I know they are in the form of their life, but other athletes in other countries are also in the form of their life. What gave you that confidence that we can win, we can medal? That's your question, number. For PAGA, I want to commend you for coming into sports. I've not seen you in sport before. All over the world, companies like yours are taking out of athletes, I know you are sponsoring. I want to commend Mambo for coming to you guys. What is PAGA going to do to help our athletes? One of the challenges our athletes have is that if you look at athletes all over the world, they have sponsors that empower them, that help them to actualize their dream. I know Mambo knows that for you to be an athlete, you need a regular fund, you need a regular source of income. Why is it difficult for a company like PAGA? Why is it difficult for you guys to come into sports? Why is every company running away from sports? Why? That's the question I want to ask. Thank you.
Thank you, Lekon. Can you just remind us what platform you're representing, please?
Yeah, my name is Olale Konkuso. I work with the Nation newspaper.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. So, your first 2 questions, can you just remind me again? Lekon, are you there?
I said you lay more emphasis on the female, on the women's scene.
Yes.
There seems to be little bit, why? And the second one is why is it that the confidence you are talking? I know from the beginning of this year, we're talking about medal, and I can tell you in the last 3 Olympics, we have not really the confidence. I've not seen somebody talking like this before, even in Nigerian side. But the way you are talking, we're going to medal. What prompted this confidence you have?
So let me start with the confidence. Maybe I wouldn't call it confidence. I would call it optimism. Perhaps I'm an eternal optimist. But we have such an abundance of talent and potential that if we get our act together as a nation, if we're serious about the sport, if we do what we're meant to do at the right time, then what I'm actually talking about is inevitable. And I suppose that's what gives me the confidence that I've been showing about our prospects. This Olympics is very different from the last 2. In the last 2 Olympics, we probably had just Blessing Okagbare as the only individual medal hopeful. And I think when you go into an Olympics, depending on one athlete, you put a lot of pressure on that person. Now we're in a completely different situation. Now we have Ese Brume, who is a long jump African record holder, 7:17, breaking Choma Junwa's record that she used to win Olympic gold. That script almost seems to be written, for Brume to succeed her, hopefully as an Olympic champion. You have Tobi Amusan as well. You have Okagbare. You have Echukwuwoke in the women's hammer. So, there's such an abundance of talent that, if we get our act together, you can't help but be confident. The relays, is an area that we should always be targeting medals. And even though things are happening at the last minute now, you can see the progression. The men, the 4x1, they ran 39.4 on Sunday at the national trials. They just spent 3 or 4 more days together, and they cut that down to 38.5, 38.59 from 39.4 in just 4 days. So we're hoping that once these athletes, the relay teams, can be kept together from now to the Olympics, we can see a surprise. The last time the men's 4x1 actually medaled at the Olympics for Nigeria was in Athens 2004. Our head coach at MoC, Deji Aliyu, was the anchor leg of that team. And he reminded me yesterday that even back then, none of them in that team at that time were running more than 10.0, 10.1, or 10.2, right? And they came back with a bronze medal at the Olympics. And now we have, 4, 5, 6 guys running 10.0, 10.1, 10.2. So all they need to do is build that team chemistry. In terms of why the women's team are doing better, I think it's something that has been the case for the last 10 years in Nigerian athletics. The men's team has struggled. For example, the men's 4x4, I don't think have made the Olympics since 2012, I believe. But you have to look at, athletics is all about, I think, different generations of athletes, and there's a new generation of athletes rising up in Nigeria now. The men are getting better, like I mentioned, in the men's 4x1. You have so many athletes now running 10.0, 10.1, 10.2. They're all based in Nigeria. And the men's 4x4 will come back as well. You just have a lot of young athletes who are coming up for the first time. So I think all that needs to be done is put in a plan, a long-term plan, to really help these men develop. We shouldn't just be thinking about Tokyo. We should be thinking about Paris in 2024 and even Los Angeles in 2028. So I hope that answers your questions. I'll pass on to Daniel to answer the question about sponsors and PAGA's intentions in athletics.
Thanks, Bambo. Lekon, thank you. I think it's a question that many should be asking, really. And it's not just thinking about it as sponsoring sports, but it's just sponsoring people, sponsoring potential, right? Partnering to ensure that potential in sports and in other industries is achieved. For PAGA, I can't speak for other brands and why they haven't, why they don't, but for PAGA, it's really a thing of timing, right? As you may know, we're very tactical about our partnerships and sponsorships because we want them to be truly beneficial, not just something to shake hands and have newspaper posts for, but something that will be truly beneficial. And over the last 10 years, we've seen that approach be successful, right? Across our agent network, across our consumer network, and the thousands of businesses using us, we see it as playing our part to ensure that their potential is fulfilled. And constantly we see that happening. Now we've stepped into the sports category. We will, as Bambo mentioned during the introduction, this is a long-term thing. We will not just be sponsoring the sporting event, but we will also be partnering to support with everything from financial literacy, financial academic training, and also equipping the athletes with the PAGA products and services, right? So that for in the broad terms of their lives, they're able to manage payments if they have other businesses, if they can afford to if they can afford the time to have other businesses, they're able to use the PAGA products and services too. So we're looking at this long term. We're looking at this very intentionally, and as we've done in the past, we're going to put what we can into this to ensure that these guys succeed, right? I believe that there are people that always need to step up, right? And once they step up, others see what's necessary and then they back them up. The same way we stepped up and pushed financial services in Nigeria over 10 years ago, and many have followed that path. We're stepping into this too. to invest in the lives of young athletes. And I'm sure as we step in and we see the potential grow, others will step into. So Lekon, please keep asking that question of many brands, but you can be sure that PAGA is in there now. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Daniel. I think, Paul, I saw you raising your hand if you have a question. And then we'll go to Solomon after that.
Can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah. Good morning. My name is Paul Akagbeme. I work with AIT, Africa Independent Television. My question is first to PAGA. Now that you are one of the new entrants into sponsorship, I do hope you will not be discouraged in terms of perhaps, what consistency that may come your way in terms of people who are supposed to be part of the event when they are not putting clogs on the wheel of your progress, and you are not going to easily chicken out or pull out. That will again become a setback to the development of athletics or any other sport in Nigeria. Because I know how we've had issues with sponsors, some disagreements over, policies and some other things that will not go in their way. They may eventually pull out. Let's pray that this will not be, the same thing. And I hope you'll be able to maintain that consistency. Then back to Bambo. We're becoming very disturbed in the sense that the long-running battle, in the AFN, where let us believe has gradually come to an end now with Tony Kowa or George or Gusso and so forth. How has this affected your arrangement, your preparations, and your operations over these few years or weeks? Why is it that we are having series of qualifying athletics program, which is very unlike our past, when we used to arrange for preparation for international competitions, especially like the Olympics? Has this in any way affected your plan towards grassroots preparation? And then how do we really maintain the consistency? If there's no good administration in line with taking the athletes, together, do you think the coaches will form a strong front to assist the athletes to achieve the desired result at the Olympics?
Okay. Paul, are you still there? Hello. Okay. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you, Paul. I will, Daniel, I don't know if there was a question or a comment to you. Do you want to respond to that?
Yes, I think the comment and prayer even was from Paul was around ensuring the consistency, because if his concern is some brands don't stay the long haul. Paul, it's a fair concern. I understand where you're coming from with this. So as I said during the intro, we've been watching this space, particularly with MoC. And the truth is, when you're looking for growth, as we, PAGA, have seen in our industry, there's the time for sowing the seed and putting in the effort, right? And it may not come immediately. It may be even longer than expected. But we believe in MoC's approach. We've seen the fruit of it, and also our approach of tactical partnerships. So we will continue to engage with them, and we'll continue to partner, right? We will not step out just because there's some squabble or any minor issues, right? No, we're focused on the betterment of the individuals, right, and the outcome of the sport's success. So we'll be in for the long haul.
Thanks, Daniel. And in terms of the challenges you mentioned, Paul, yes, the challenges with the AFN have weighed the sport down a lot, especially in the last couple of years. With the new election a couple of weeks ago, I believe that those challenges have come to an end. We're looking forward to the next administration And we really believe that if we all join hands together, that we can make Nigerian athletics what it is supposed to be. And I think one of the reasons that Making of Champions is even in this space is to really serve as a connector, to serve as a management company that can actually make it comfortable for companies like PAGA to also come into this space and to support the work that the Athletics Federation of Nigeria and the Ministry of Sports is doing. I should obviously mention that in all our events, Athletics Federation of Nigeria is a partner. They ratify the results and send them to World Athletics. We've been doing that at our events since 2018 so that they're globally recognized. And then the Ministry of Sports as well is supporting this event. They have some of the international teams on ground, such as Senegal and Cote d'Ivoire, who they are supporting to stay until our event to compete against Team Nigeria. So I think, we've gotten to a stage where it's a really all hands on deck approach. Everybody's coming together for the realization of the same goal in the immediate term, which is the qualification of the relay teams for the Olympics. Thank you very much, Paul. I think Solomon raised his hand if he has a question. Please go ahead.
Yes, good morning. My name is Solomon Ajujuogu. I report for TVC News. I'm particularly elated that this is happening, the consistency of what MoC and Bambo particularly has been doing with this. You were one man who's been very hopeful, and it seems you have reasons to be hopeful. The Olympic teams are gathering momentum, and the relay teams are beginning to get their grooves together. I'm happy about that, but I'm particularly worried about the women's sprint relay team, currently ranked 15th, and I would expect that if they aren't qualifying by achieving the standard qualifying time, at least the ranking will count for them. If the result stays like this, if the ranking stays like this to 29th, of course they would qualify. But my worry is that I thought that they would be present for every opportunity to gather these points, like what we saw yesterday. They weren't there yesterday. Will it not be important for them to be at the MoC event, the PAGA MoC event this weekend, so that in case they do not meet the qualifying time, at least they will be able to run fast enough to gather more points and to consolidate the 15th position, because the other teams that are competing with them won't be just sleeping and folding their hands and let someone else take the slot. Will they be around? Because they weren't around yesterday, the 4x100 women's team.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I think, you rightly mentioned they're in 15th out of 16 teams. In fact, there's only 2 slots available in that event because the other 14 teams qualified directly, automatically, either at the World Championships in 2019 or at the World Relays in May. So there's only 2 slots left. Right now, Nigeria is ahead of the rest of the pack. I think you've got Brazil having a run maybe 43.04 and Australia, I think 43.19 maybe, I'm not sure. But the bottom line is, the 42.97 is a pretty strong lead. It's I won't say it's completely unassailable, but I would expect them to hold on to that position until the deadline on Tuesday. And that's why you probably haven't seen them in the meet yesterday, and they may not also appear at the PAGA MoC relays, simply because it seems to be a comfortable lead. These top athletes like Blessing Okabere, they have other commitments. They might have even left the country for some other meets. We don't know. But I think the attention has firmly shifted to the men's 4x1 and the mixed 4x4. The men's 4x1 ran twice yesterday. They got very close, much closer than they were on Sunday. And that has given them the belief and the hunger that they can do this at the PAGA MoC relays. The mixed 4x4, they've only attempted one qualification in the US. I think the men have attempted twice in the last week, and they're pretty far away. So basically, the men may not be able to qualify because they're at 3 minutes 5 seconds, and they need 3 minutes 2 seconds. So I think the attention on Sunday will be on the men's 4x1 and the mixed 4x4, and let's come together and really cheer them on to get into the Olympics.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions? You can raise your hand and we can take maybe one or two more, or we go to the next point in the agenda. All right. So let's move on. I think we've talked about most of the updates already. But if can we have either one of our senior sports writers, Yemi or Chris, just give us an update on where things are from the national trials, what the highlights were last week, what the highlights were yesterday, and what to look forward to at the MoC Relays on Sunday, at the PAGA MoC Relays on Sunday. Okay. Yemi or Chris, are you there? Is one of you there to say a few words for a few minutes?
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, you can hear you. We can see you. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to PAGA, sorry, and to our media colleagues for joining. It's always a pleasure to have you guys come to our PARLEY. Yeah, it's been a train of events from last weekend, from the national trials to the Lagos Open Championships, which was held yesterday at the Tessin Balogun Stadium. The highlight yesterday, obviously, was the women's 4x4 qualifying for the Olympics. When we say qualifying, they are in 13th position out of 16. It's not that someone cannot knock them off. I mean, another country can, but they're in a very good position. 3 minutes, 26 seconds is, I don't think any country can, surmount doubt. I think they are in a strong position to qualify for the Olympics. They've put themselves in a very good position. That's like a very good thing to do for them, because it would have been unthinkable for Nigeria not to qualify in the women's 4x4, considering that we won the silver medal in this event in 1996. This is like a strong event for Nigeria, all right? So if we have the quartet of Patience, Okon George, Favour Philly, Nse Imabong, and Knowledge Omovo, who ran 52.24 seconds last weekend at the national trials qualifying, they are actually a strong medal contender. So it's a good thing for Nigeria, and hopefully this Sunday we would have the mixed 4x4 qualifying. I was debating with someone whether the person felt Nigeria can actually win a medal in the mixed 4x4. And if you look at the quartet we have, if you look at Favour Philly, Nse Imabong, Emmanuel Ojeli, Chidi Okezie, this quartet should be able to win a medal for Nigeria at the Olympics. When you pale it in comparison with the Bahrainian team, who won a medal in this event at the 2019 World Championships, on paper we should have the best team. Although Bahrain, they have Salwa, who is in the league of her own, but if we lose 2 seconds on her leg, we should be able to get another 2 seconds, from someone else. So it's not like the Bahrainian team, they are much better than Nigeria. No, it's about cohesion, So mixed 4x4 is actually a strong medal event for Nigeria. So if we put our acts together this Sunday and they qualify, this is an event you guys should look out for. And hopefully Nigeria qualifies on Sunday and we'll now begin to dream about a medal. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Chris. I think.
And just.
Sorry, go on, Yemi. Please go on.
Yep. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us this morning. And I want to say a big thank you to PAGA, for joining in and sponsoring, our event on Sunday. So we're very pleased about that. So just to add a bit to what Chris said, we can see that we have about 12 athletes qualified in individual events and then 2 relay teams, making about 14 events for Nigeria. And by the end of the deadline on 29th, I'm sure some other athletes will join. Someone like Chioma Onyekwere, for example, in the women's discus throw, based on world rankings, is supposed to make it to the Olympics to compete in the women's discus throw. And then, of course, like you've also mentioned, and Chris as well, that the mixed 4x4 on Sunday, and even the men's 4x1, I mean, seeing them run yesterday and coming close to running, the qualifying time gives one hope that maybe on Sunday, they can qualify. But I think it's really looking good for Nigeria that right now we have about 15 different events we've qualified for. And then MoC qualifying for the men's 100 meters last week at the national trials was definitely one of the highlights, And this is the first time about 4 Nigerian men have met the qualifying standard in the 100 meters. So now, actually, we can only get 3 to run, obviously. And some people are saying, okay, maybe Divine might just run the 200 and all of that. But I think it's really exciting, that we can actually have this many athletes qualify for the Olympics. And so it will actually be a shame if our men's 4x1 is unable to qualify, in the relay, seeing that our men are actually running quite fast now. So I'm hoping that they get qualified.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So Chris mentioned the Bahrain team. What he didn't mention is that all 4 of them that won the bronze at the World Championships in the mixed 4x4 in 2019 are all Nigerian born, all went to Bahrain in the last 5 to 6 years. So Salwa Ednasa, formerly Ebelichukwu, Abakponwu. So yeah, we have the talent. We just are allowing other countries to do it for us, to do it for them. Those athletes, they left when the conditions were not good for them in Nigeria. And hopefully with the PAGA MoC relays and everything we do from here on in, we'll make sure that those best talents are looked after by Nigeria and represent Nigeria. I would also mention that the PAGA MoC relays on Sundays is also special because it's the very first day for qualifying for the World Championships in 2022 in Oregon, USA. What that means is that if anybody runs, individually runs the standard, the same standard as the Olympics, by the way, if they run that standard at our event on Sunday, they will automatically qualify for the World Championships next year. So that's it's a last chance for the Olympics, and it's the early birds for the World Championships next year. So thank you, Chris and Yemi, for those updates. Chris Maduesi and Yemi Olus, they are our senior sports writers at Making of Champions. You've seen them all on the field at all our events. You'll see them again on Sunday. With that, would like to see if there's any more final questions before we close the meeting. Let me have a look. Okay, I think we're good to go. So in that case, I really just want to take this opportunity to say a very big thanks once more to PAGA for joining as the lead sponsor of the PAGA MoC Relays. It's really, we're really excited about this partnership. We're excited about starting this journey with you, and we're excited about what PAGA can do to help Nigerian athletes and sports people everywhere in terms of their financial inclusion, in terms of really connecting them and really, helping and improving their lifestyles in general. So we're very excited for Sunday. We would like to say to everyone, see you at the PAGA MoC Relays, and let's hope that there will be cause for celebration at the end of the day. Daniel, any final words from yourself?
I'm just excited, honestly. I'm just excited. But yeah, we're happy to be a part of this, right? Youth are the center of everything for us, our team internally, our core customers. So yeah, it's an opportunity that we're honored to be a part of, making life possible for them as is our essence. So yeah, looking forward to a fantastic Sunday and then the journey ahead. Well done, MoC. Happy to be a part of this.
Thank you very much, Daniel. In closing, Evans, do we have anything in closing that we should be aware of ahead of Sunday?
Yes, please. I think just to remind everyone to always be COVID conscious, social distancing, ensure that you come with your masks. We'll try to provide, in terms of COVID supports on ground, in terms of ensuring that people adhere very strictly to COVID guidelines. Like journalists, there's a space for journalists at the event, and we're just very excited about the event, and we want to welcome everybody. And yeah, that's it from me. Thank you very much.
And the final thing, I know it wasn't asked, but it's worth mentioning. I think we've had we've almost had 300 registrants from over 10 countries register for the event. Ultimately, I think we're going to see at least 5 countries represented. I know that Cote d'Ivoire and Senegal are already on ground. Cameroon is arriving this evening. We're still waiting to see if Kenya is going to make it. It's exciting because everyone knows this is the last opportunity. You know, I forgot to mention that this date should have been the African Championships that was initially going to hold in Algeria last year, that was postponed to this year, was moved to Lagos, and then unfortunately cancelled. So these athletes were expecting to be in Lagos now for the African Championships. Now some of them will be here for the PAGA MoC relays. And let's see what's going to happen. You know, there are athletes who have come from around Africa to try and snag that last minute Olympic qualification on Sunday at the PAGA MoC relays. So let's see what happens. It seems like there will be a lot to look forward to and hopefully celebrate for Team Nigeria. In terms of the media, I don't think I'm not sure if we have accreditation cards this time around, but please do follow up with Yemi Odlus, anything regards to media on the ground at the event. We look forward to seeing you there, and we look forward to celebrating Team Nigeria. Thank you once again, PAGA, and we'll see you all at the PAGA MoC relays on Sunday.